One Piece. Story was made by Eiichiro Oda. Chapter 26. Captain Kuro's Plan. Klahadore stood there, an enigmatic figure with his glasses perched delicately on his nose. The gentle breeze ruffled his suit as he turned to face Django, who stood by his side. Assassinate is such an ugly word, Klahadore mused. Django's response was swift, a nervous chuckle escaping his lips. Ah, yeah, accident. We'll call it an accident, he stammered, his fingers fumbling with his hat. His eyes darted to Klahadore, then to the horizon. Isn't that right, Captain Kuro? Klahadore adjusted his glasses as he thought aloud. Captain Kuro, I gave up that name 3 years ago. Don't call me by that name again. You are the captain now, he carried with authority. Amidst the unfolding scene, Usopp and Luffy remained hidden above them, piqued by the exchange above. As they observed in silence, Luffy pointed out, Hey, what are those two talking about? He queried, his eyes fixed on the figures below. Usopp panicked, as his voice trembled in hushed tones. You heard them yourself. Why are you asking me? I think I've heard the name Captain Kuro somewhere. Sweat dripped along his face as he shared his thoughts. I think he's the pirate famous for his careful planning before robbing and plundering, but I heard he got caught by the Marines 3 years ago and got executed. I still remember that day. It simply shocked me, Django shared. With a dramatic flourish, he raised his thumbs in the air. You said you were going to give up being a pirate and made me the captain, he announced, as he shifted his thumbs down. Everyone thinks that Captain Kuro has been executed by the Marines, but actually, you hid in this little village and told us to come here in 3 years' time. Django took a seat on a weathered rock as he continued. Before, when I worked for you, there were always a lot of benefits. That's the only reason I worked for you. I can get a good share this time, right? He pondered. Klahadore agreed. If you succeed, you'll get your share, he affirmed him. Good. Leave that girl to me, the hypnotist exclaimed. Killing her is not enough, Kuro admonished. You have to make sure it looks like an accident. It looks like you're not ready yet. Shut up. I'm completely ready, Django retorted. When you send the signal, we'll charge into the village and kill the mistress, simple as that. Then you can openly claim her inheritance. Kuro adjusted his glasses as he points out sharply. I wonder if your mom actually gave you a brain. I have no relation to her family. How can there be an inheritance for me? We can work on it, Django confidently remarked. But Kuro's rebuttal was firm. It's no use. The most important art is, before you kill her, you have to hypnotize her and make her write my name into the will, saying, I will leave all my wealth to my butler, Klahadore, he instructed. Usopp's surprise mirrored the tension in the air. Kuro's plan unfurled like a sinister tapestry, leaving no room for doubt as he remarks to the hypnotist. This way I can openly claim her wealth. I've spent 3 years getting everyone to trust me, and as soon as she writes the will, no one will suspect me. Kuro's words dripped with a chilling confidence. Just for this, you spent 3 years being a butler? If I were you, I would have just robbed them straight on, Django jeered. Kuro's response was sharp as he replies, If I had done that, I'd still be an outlaw and the Marines would still be chasing me. This plan can get me tons of money, plus I won't have the Marines chasing me. I like using my head to find a peaceful way to settle things. Django's mockery was relentless, as he laughed at his responses. Peaceful way to settle things? You mean murdering her entire family is a peaceful way? He scoffed. Hey, what entire family? Kaya's parents died naturally. That was outside my plans. Kuro replied honestly. Whatever. Let's not argue over this. Anyway, you just need to send the signal, Django conceded, his impatience giving way to the calculated plan. Our ship has been anchored close by for almost a week. They can't hold back any longer. Atop a rocky outcrop overlooking the 2 figures below, Usopp anxiously tried to gather what has been said in their conversation. Horrible. I've heard a horrible plan. Luffy turned to his friend. Hey, what's going on? This doesn't look good. Usopp's thoughts raced like wild horses in a storm. Isn't he listening? Of course it doesn't look good. They're serious about this. So for 3 years, they already lusted after Kaya's family wealth. And that butler, no, Captain Kuro is still alive. And I punched him before. He'll kill me for sure." His worry spilled out in words as he adds, "Kaya will be killed too. The village will be under attack. Not good. Not good at all." But in the midst of Usopp grappling with his fears, Luffy stood up, facing the pair below. "Don't stand up. They'll see you," Usopp warns. However, it didn't stop him. His voice cut through the silence like a clarion call as Luffy announced, "Hey, you two! Don't you dare touch the mistress!" Django and Kuro's gaze lifted, their eyes narrowing to the top of the cliff. Usopp's heart raced, his voice a frantic plea as he clung to Luffy's arm. "You idiot! They'll see you! Hide! They'll kill you!" But the die was cast, and Kuro's recognition was unambiguous. "Oh, it's Usopp," he remarked sharply. "He saw me." Usopp panicked as the butler coldly remarks with a dead stare. "Did you hear anything?" he questioned. Usopp's hands flailed, trying to deny his inquiry at every cost. "No, nothing at all. We just got here. Really?" "We heard everything," Luffy affirmed him. "Hey!" Usopp intensified, slapping his arm, to no effect. Kuro looked to the shore as the hypnotist asks the same question. "Heard everything?" he questioned, but he knew that they did and pulled out his disc, ready to hypnotize them. "Oh well, you guys. Take a look at this pendulum." The pendulum's metronomic rhythm began its sway, a hypnotic trance that drew the pair's attention. "Look at what?" Luffy asks him as he stares directly at the pendulum. Usopp's eyes widened in fear. "He's going to use that to kill us!" He desperately tries to warn him. Django persisted as he moved it from side to side. "When I say 1, 2, Django, you will fall asleep," he announces. 1, 2... With incredible speed, Usopp crouched in great haste behind Luffy as if hoping to evade an inevitable fate. "Idiot, hurry and hide!" he heeded. "Django!" the hypnotist finished with flair. At that moment, both Luffy and Django fell straight to sleep. Just before the hypnotist fell to the floor, Kuro managed to hold him up. "You still haven't got rid of that habit, have you?" the butler comments. As his consciousness slipped away, Luffy's body was drawn to the precipice of the cliff above them. "Hey, what are you doing? You're falling over!" Usopp shouts desperately, but time slipped through his fingers like grains of sand as Luffy walked off of the cliff. With a loud crash, Luffy landed headfirst into the ground as Kuro looked intently. Hey, you! Are you all right?" Usopp's voice echoed, carrying his concern over the edge of the cliff below. Only the butler and the hypnotist remained, offering no reply to his desperate query. "Damn, I didn't want to kill him. Broken neck, I don't think there's any hope," Django sincerely remarks. "Bastard! You killed him!" Usopp retorts. "What about that one? Kill him too?" Django inquired to his former captain. "Don't need to. No matter what he says, no one will ever believe him." Kuro calmly replies. The weight of Kuro's plan hung heavy in the air, as Usopp's shock was eclipsed only by Kuro's calculated response, as he continued. "Django, tomorrow morning. Take the crew to attack the village and destroy some houses, make it look like a pirate raid, then kill Kaya, the mistress." "Tomorrow..." Usopp stammers his breath. Kuro then looked at him directly from below with a calculated stare. "Did you hear that, Usopp? It doesn't really matter. You can't affect my plan." "Damn, I hate you," Usopp retorts as he runs directly to the village in top speed. "You sure it's okay?" Django clarifies with him. Kuro remarks sharply, "Don't worry, my plan won't be affected." As they discussed even further with their plans, Luffy slept on the ground peacefully. As Usopp fled from the scene, his thoughts raced, his heart heavy with a sense of impending doom. "This is bad! This is bad! This is bad! The villagers will all be killed. Kaya will be killed too. People that I love this village." His thoughts raced as memories flooded his mind, recalling the time that defined his connection to this place. Who are you?" Kaya asked politely. Usopp's words were infused with a resolute cheerfulness. "I'm Usopp, brave warrior of the sea. I've heard about your misfortune, so I'm here to talk to you, to cheer you up." "It's none of your business. Get out of here. I'm going to yell for help," the mistress replied back. Usopp's determination was unyielding, his voice infused with a mix of conviction and playfulness. "Don't be scared, I just like to mind other people's business." Usopp laughed. As the memories of Kaya flooded through his mind, he kept running and he did not look back. In the distance, a figure darted across the horizon, a blur of speed that caught Zoro's watchful eye. His sharp gaze fixed on the distant movement, curiosity stirring within him. As the wind tousled his hair, he leaned nonchalantly against the old wooden fence. Usopp raced through the village like a shooting star, leaving a trail of astonishment in his wake. His sprint brought him within the group's view. Nami and the rest of the Usopp pirates watched as their captain ran with haste. "That's the captain!" the trio of young boys exclaimed in unison, while Zoro curiously remarked, "Wasn't Luffy with him?" Nami pondered aloud, "Is he still mad at the butler for looking down on his dad?" "Who knows?" Zoro mused, his thoughts drifting like the wisps of clouds in the sky. But the observations of the young pirates continued, their voices full of urgency. "No, his expression is different," Ninjin exclaimed, while P-Man added, "Something must have happened at the shore." "He's panicking. What happened?" Tamanegi questioned. Zoro's gaze shifted to the young Usopp pirates. "Hey, kids, how do I get to the shore?" he inquired. The urgency in their voices escalated. "I think something bad has happened." "Right. That hypnotist went that way too a while ago. Usopp's pirate group is moving." Impatience edged into Zoro's voice. "Are you guys done? How do I get there?" As Usopp's feet pounded the ground, he finally entered the village, his shout ringing out like a clarion call. Bad news, pirates are coming. Pirates are going to attack this village tomorrow morning. Everyone evacuate." Indoors, a chorus of anger and disbelief greeted Usopp's words. "Damn, it's that big fat liar again." Voices of doubt whispered, "It's the second time today. Just ignore him. Pirates won't come." "He's going at it again. He's been doing it a bit too much lately." Another voice joined the fray with irritation, but Usopp's plea was not without impact. Villagers, one by one, grabbed their broomsticks as their resolves hardened against him. They roared with fury, "Hey, Usopp, shut your mouth! We'll teach you a lesson today!" Fear and worry marked Usopp's expression as he tried to clear their understanding. "No, it's the truth this time." But the villagers were unyielding, their frustration palpable. "You say the same thing every time. You're taking advantage of our trust." "I know I joked around before." Usopp's voice trembled with sincerity. "But this time it's the truth. Believe me." A villager's sigh dripped with disgust. "If you were an honest man like Klahadore, then maybe I'd believe you." In the depths of Usopp's heart, Kuro's cruel promise resurfaced, that in the end, no one will ever believe him. "That bastard," he thought bitterly, succumbing to a moment of despair. But then, with a surge of willpower, he gathered his strength and let out a cry that echoed through the village. "Please believe me just this once. Run away. Pirates will really be here tomorrow." Meanwhile, a sinister ship lay anchored around the coast of the island. Its dark purple sails fluttered like malevolent shadows against the daylight sky. The Jolly Roger, a feline visage with gleaming eyes, proclaimed its malevolence to the world. Django settled onto the deck as Kuro gathered his crew around him, gratitude gleaming in his eyes. "You guys, thank you for all the help. We haven't met in 3 years. When this plan is through, we'll be rich for the rest of our lives." He then bore a wicked grin as he declares to his crew, "Tomorrow morning we'll destroy this village." The cat-like pirates raised their swords in the unison and rejoiced at their great captain. "Hail to Captain Kuro!" they cheered. At the Grand Mansion, a gentle soul named Kaya sought answers. Her voice was a whisper of concern as she questioned her servant, "Where's Klahadore?" The butler, a lamb-like figure, responded with placid grace, explaining, "He said he was going to the nest town." "Oh," Kaya thought, while back at the edge of the shore, Luffy slumbered peacefully with his body slouching against him as he snored.